Welcome to the Network Marketing Made Simple podcast. I am your host, Scott Aaron, and each and every week I'm going to come to you with short, simple, and powerful tactics of how you can grow your network marketing business, brand, bank account, and impact on those around you. And just remember, network marketing is not easy, but it can be made easy with simple steps to create the success that you truly deserve. So, Gloria, welcome to today's episode. And I don't think there's an episode that I don't get excited for anymore, but an episode like this, number one, with an old friend that I haven't spoken to in a while, someone that kind of paved the path inherently for me, moving from building a network marketing business to actually a coaching practice like you've done, but namely someone that loves LinkedIn as much as I do. It's really powerful to have that kind of individual on this podcast because, in all honesty, Gloria, I think my listeners sometimes get sick of me kind of jamming down their throats, LinkedIn. So it's always good not only to have the female perspective, but also to have another coach of network marketing that also loves LinkedIn as much as I do on here. So with that being said, Gloria, welcome to today's episode.
Thanks so much, Scott. It's so great to be here. And I'm sure you and I agree that LinkedIn is so overlooked and underutilized for network marketers. I mean, I am still today, after being out there pounding the pavement for LinkedIn, I haven't quite reached 3 years yet, but I'm still shocked at the minuscule number of network marketers who are actually using LinkedIn and or using it effectively.
I was thinking it, you just said it, and it's not so much using it, it's using it the right way, because I don't believe in something being the right and wrong way. I just think there's a right way and then there's a better way. And I think that's the path that you and I are paving for other people to follow. So obviously, before we get into network marketing and LinkedIn and all that stuff, for my audience that is not familiar with you and your work, just a little brief introduction on who you are, but more importantly, how your journey in entrepreneurship, namely network marketing, began that got you to where you are today.
Yeah, well, my journey in network marketing started over 40 years ago. I hate to say that, but it's absolutely the truth. I got involved in that, the first biggie of all the biggies, the Amway thing. And I've drawn so many circles, it's not funny. So I did start over 40 years ago. Like the vast majority of network marketers, I struggled. And of course, when I started, no social media existed. The only thing we could possibly do was belly to belly. We could call up friends. We could talk to strangers at the bank because that, you used to actually go to the bank because that was the only thing you could do. The internet didn't even exist. And so it was a world of cowboys. And so fast forward, I guess it was about maybe 16, 17 years ago, I started a business that ended up being an extremely successful business outside of the network marketing space. And I don't think I would have ever started that business had I not had the entrepreneurial experience in network marketing, because I was an entrepreneur at heart. So I started a business that ended up being crazy successful, multi-million dollar business. And literally overnight, a lot of people have heard my story, but really briefly, overnight, that business was gone through a series of really unforeseen events. And I lost everything. I mean, my husband and I came extremely close to having to declare bankruptcy. And I was 56 at the time. So that is not a time when you want to lose your entire life savings. I mean, we had to sell our home. We sold one of our 2 cars. There were many sleepless nights when I honestly wondered how on earth we were ever going to pay the mortgage, how we were going to make the car payments that month, how I was going to get enough money for food, which was wild and crazy for me because I'd had such an extremely successful, highly profitable business. And then literally it's like, boom. So I ended up, I mean, at the age of 56 and having been out of the workforce for 15 years or so, there wasn't anybody that was going to hire me. That was for darn sure. So I knew I had to recreate myself. I had to reinvent myself. And now it's a whole new world with social media and everything. So I ended up back in the network marketing world. And I really started getting into social media because I realized that that was a great new way to build. And I started off on Facebook, which is where most people start off, right? And I spent a ton of money on Facebook ads. And at first they worked, and then the algorithms changed. And then I ended up losing like regularly $3,000 a month. And I still was in the hole. I mean, I was still hundreds of thousands of dollars in the hole from my other business going, belly up. And I had tens and tens of thousands of dollars of credit card debt. And now I'm still, losing $3,000 a month or so on Facebook ads. So I was like, well, this is not a recipe for success. I just could not come up with any more money to do that. So I ended up fooling around on LinkedIn and was like, wow, what do you know? I'm not paying a dime for advertising, and this is really working.
And it's interesting because everyone sees the glory, but they don't know the story. And
Yeah.
they see the success that people have. I mean, I did because of like you. I had two gyms, and a lot of people know my story. I had two gyms that I sold for $1 million back in 2003 when I was 24 years old. So I became a millionaire in my early 20s, and then a year later, we opened up our final gym. And the backstory is, my father was incarcerated for 2.5 years when I was 18 years old. So I actually had to take over the family business as a sophomore in college, which was a gym. And that's how I got into the fitness industry. So I always jokingly tell people that I've been psychologically unemployable since day one. So I've never had a boss, but in 2004, we opened up this new gym, but everything had to be put into my name financially because my parents had no credit. That's how it had to go. So by the time 2008, 2009 rolled around, I was $1.5 million in liability debt. So it was the complete opposite. So I had to kind of work out of that. And then like you, I found network marketing in 2013, and I had this amazing 4.5-year run where, I created over $400,000 of income. But namely, I had this moment that people know this. I had this moment in 2015 where, like you, I saw the big changes to Facebook, not just on the business side of it, where people had their personal, their business pages, but on the personal side, engagement was different. It just, things got flipped upside down. And I went onto LinkedIn because I remember having a profile, but one of my first mentors, Susan Sly, said to me very early on, she said, you got to look yourself in the mirror and ask, how are you going to connect with yourself today? And the business mindset of myself kicked on. And I'm like, well, that's it. I'm not just looking for consumers. I want other gym owners. I want other trainers and nutritionists. And where can I easily search and find the business-minded person? So I jumped onto LinkedIn, and this was late 2015. And like you, it was a gold mine. And I was having conversation after conversation. And then obviously, the rest is history from there. But it's one of those things, and you and I were talking in the pre-show that, we both now realize how much of network marketing is a lineage-based business, which for people that don't understand what that means, it's almost like whatever's being taught by the person that first started that downline taught the next person, taught the next person. And if LinkedIn was never a part of that conversation, guess what is never going to be taught to the organization? And most commonly, Gloria, you find that LinkedIn never, ever comes up in the conversation, even though you can take any top leader. And I've had multiple 6 and multiple 7-figure income earners on this podcast. And they all agree that Facebook has changed. It does not work the way that it once did, but yet there's still this resistance to LinkedIn. Why do you think there is still so much resistance around LinkedIn knowing that people are succeeding on there like you and I, plus people actually building their business?
Yeah, I don't know. It's absolutely insane. Well, I think the thing is, we as human beings are incredibly resistant to change. Incredibly. It doesn't matter that like the world is falling apart on Facebook, so to speak, in terms of building business. I was just listening to Russell Brunson this past weekend, and Russell agrees with me. I've been saying this. I've been saying this for a couple of years now. Um, that Facebook has changed completely, and if you are starting off today, if you don't already have 25, 50, 100,000 followers on Facebook, and if you're not, Russell Brunson said, if you're not spending $1 million a month on Facebook ads, forget it. Facebook doesn't want you, and they will be shutting you down. It's only a question of time. It is only a question of time. And you and I both know plenty of people who've had their Facebook ad account shut down. I know some people, not big names at all, but some, struggling network marketers who've had not their ad account shut down, but like they've been banned from Facebook. One woman I was speaking to had all of her customer base on Facebook. She had no other access to them. She didn't have their email addresses. She didn't have their phone numbers. Her entire customer base was on Facebook, and she got her Facebook account totally, she was banned from Facebook. The bottom line is none of us control any social media platform. And as much as I love LinkedIn, and LinkedIn is absolutely positively, without a shadow of a doubt, my go-to platform. And it is the platform that I recommend every network marketer master and in fact start with, because it is so easy. I still would say, look, master LinkedIn, get good at it, and diversify. Make sure you show up on other platforms. Don't put all your eggs in any one basket. you know
Being you just touched on it, being omnipresent. And for those that don't know what that means, it's having the presence every single day on multiple platforms is so important. But Gloria, the mistake that I see network marketers making is they're not treating each platform the way that it should be treated. Meaning,
Oh, yes.
you see the crappy, spammy, selling, pitching, before and after type posts that should be left for Facebook and Instagram. You see them now trickling onto LinkedIn, where you and I know what we teach is the most valuable asset to any business is your personal brand. Because
Yeah,
the company that you partner with, they own you, they own your downline, they own everything. But what they can't take away is your personal brand. Because
absolutely.
if you're smart in network marketing, you don't need to brand the company. And the fact is, network marketing companies have actually started to cut down on their marketing spending because of the way that their associates are now using Facebook and Instagram, because they have the associates doing it for them. But LinkedIn is a whole different animal. When you get into the aspect of building your own personal brand, even if that personal brand is attached to a network marketing opportunity, it's still much more valuable than you just blasting all the time the shakes, the creams, the powders, and everything else that you're using.
Totally. And what I see that just, tears my heart apart is I see, relatively well-known trainers and top network marketing earners teaching Facebook on LinkedIn. It's like, no, this is not Facebook. So the analogy I use is, if you're looking for a new bookkeeper or accountant, let's say you're looking for a new accountant to deal with your taxes. You don't go to that accountant's office and the accountant doesn't pull out a, a binder of inspirational quotes and pictures of the lunch they had and their toenail polish color and before and after pictures. That's not what they do. LinkedIn is a different platform. It is a business platform. I don't really believe it's a social media platform. I mean, it walks like a duck, it quacks like a duck, and it is different. It's a business platform. It's where people go to talk about business, to learn about business, to do business. So treat it as a business platform, not a social media platform. Now, having said that, just like you were saying, Scott, and I totally agree with you, you want your own brand there. You're branding yourself, so you bring your personality into it. But that's not the same as all the stuff we see on Facebook or Instagram.
And it's so funny. God, there's so much we can talk about. It's so funny because everyone knows that Facebook and Instagram have changed. And so the way that I describe Facebook right now, it's a barbecue. That's where people go to hang out, how's life, what's going on. They whine and complain about the government or traffic or the weather. And then Instagram is a reality TV show. That's where people
Totally.
go. It's where people go to watch other people's lives, wishing it was theirs. But what people need to understand, what's the one thing that all network marketers are taught? They're taught to network with other people. And every time you log on to LinkedIn, it's a global networking event. It's a way for you to reach out. And it's so funny because we both have clients that say to us, oh my God, I can't believe people are reaching back out to me. Well,
Yeah.
don't be so shocked because people are on there to network. That's what networkers do. They reach out and they want to talk. They actually want to get on the phone or hop on a Zoom. But the other mistake that a lot of people make is that they don't understand how much of a game changer LinkedIn can be, because now I agree, it's not just a social media platform. It's a search engine.
Yes.
People are going on to LinkedIn and they are using that search bar and they are trying to find you. And if you're not using the platform the right way, if you have your network marketing company plastered all over your LinkedIn page like you have on Facebook and Instagram, and you have all these before and afters that, all honesty, are not getting any engagement, and that's the first sign. The big thing is every social media platform, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn, they will always tell you, without having to email you, they will tell you that they like what you're doing.
Yes.
And the way that they tell you that they like what you're doing is because more people are going to see it, because more people start engaging with it. If there's crickets on anything that you are doing on any platform, that's that platform saying, hey, Gloria, change it up a little bit. Not really liking what you're doing too much. So let's pivot for a second. What would you say is the biggest misunderstanding? And I don't want you to speak to the leaders right now, because you and I both agree that, there's a lot of power given to people. And I'm talking about the network marketer that's listening to this that is struggling. They are, they may be making $500 a month, but their auto ship is $350. So they're only making $150 a month, which means they're not making much. And they're basically, just over broke with their business. That network marketer that is thinking about quitting, something is not working. The way that their upline is teaching them, the way that it worked for them 6 or 7 years ago is not working. What is your message to that network marketer, number one? And number two, why does LinkedIn need to be a part of their strategy?
Well, my message to that network marketer is, look, if it's not working, it's the definition of insanity to keep doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results, right? So you've got to figure out something different. And if you're not using LinkedIn and you're struggling, then you're missing out on a huge gold mine. And if you're using LinkedIn and you're struggling, I can guarantee you, you're not using LinkedIn effectively. You're probably using some Facebook strategy that you were taught, and you've just gone to LinkedIn and applied it, because you and I know that LinkedIn is insanely powerful. And just like you said, and my clients, 100%, this is the thing, Scott, it makes me feel good about what I'm doing, because I can say this with, and I know I'm speaking completely accurately, 100% of people that actually plug into my system and copy and paste, that's all you have to do is copy and paste, 100% of them are getting leads and prospects. And if they're following my system, 100% of them are getting people raising their hands and booking on their calendars, wanting to talk to them. 100%. I can tell you, when I was, when I was paying a lot of money to learn Facebook, 100% of people were not getting leads on Facebook no matter how much money they were spending on ads. And by far, even even a lower percent were actually ever getting anybody that they could talk to on Facebook. So it's, yeah, you need to be using LinkedIn, and you need to learn from someone who's actually proven how to do LinkedIn and create a business and create a profitable business using LinkedIn. Not to, dish anybody else, but if somebody is like, I am flat out totally honest, I am not a Facebook expert. If you want to learn how to do Facebook ads, I am not the person for you. And I will say that right up front. I don't have any courses on Facebook. I'm not a Facebook expert, you know? So why do you go to a Facebook expert to learn how to do LinkedIn? It's like me getting somebody who, teaches first grade to fix my car, who
That
knows nothing about cars. It's like, so
that's a great point. It's you get what you pay for. So because all platforms are different, you and again, we'll go down the coaching rabbit hole in a second, but you touched on some really important things, and I can wholeheartedly tell people that, and what I do, we do something, we help network marketers the same way, which is giving them the lifeline to any network marketing business, which are leads.
yeah,
If you have no leads, you have no business. And that's the thing.
exactly.
We know Facebook and Instagram are, I think you and I can both 100% agree that you can pound the pavement with Facebook and Instagram as hard as you want, but it will never, combined, will never produce the amount of qualified quality calls that LinkedIn can actually do by itself. And
Oh, I totally agree with you, Scott. Totally.
the only reason why people are like, well, I don't know, I'm not really sure, my upline says something different, because you can't compare your chapter 1 to your upline's chapter 7. You just can't do it. It's two
Yeah.
different stories. They may have built their business during the heyday of Facebook, which is 2008 to 2014. That 6-year run that Facebook had was a complete open market. I mean, people were cleaning up. And you know what? It came to a screeching halt a couple of years ago, but people are still trying to revive the dead, which you can't do. It's just not going to happen. So let's touch on the coaching side, because you and I, not only are we coaches, we
Mm-hmm.
also coach with others, because the best teachers are also the best students, because we don't know everything, but we're always educating ourselves, because we want to be able to bring something back that we learn to our students, to our clients, to our networks.
Absolutely. Totally agree.
How important is it? And network marketing has changed. This is something that we also talked about in the pre-show. How important is it in 2020 and beyond for a network marketer that truly wants to grow this as a business? How important is it for them to start looking outside of their current organization, their current upline, and their current company to start learning from other professionals like you and I?
I think it is absolutely critical. I think it's an extremely rare situation that you will be able to learn all the skills you need today in today's world from your upline, especially the upline, and there are a lot of them, especially the upline that built 25 years ago, old school belly to belly, of which I was one, and I'm saying that as a former old school belly to belly person.
Well, that's the one thing I want to say. Why I am so impressed by you is when I started network marketing, it was 30 years after you did. So I never had the home party where we put in the VHS and invited but you
Count your blessings, Scott. Count your blessings.
no, but what I really want to give you those kudos, and I think everyone that's listening to this episode needs to as well. We all need to give Gloria a virtual clap, because the thing that you did is you did something very important, and you pivoted. You saw that there was a change in network marketing, the way that it's always done. You put away the phone book, you put away the VHS tapes, you put away the DVDs, and you started using what everyone is using, which is social media. And you and I both know there are old school network marketing coaches out there that are still trying to teach belly to belly, where you go to the bank, you go to the grocery store, you go to the local somewhat, and you're doing belly to belly. And you and I both know this is a numbers game. It's who gets to who first, and social media will get you to the most available people quicker than any belly to belly method.
Yes, absolutely. And then the other thing I see, Scott, is old school belly to belly experts, gurus, top earners, whatever, who are teaching the exact same thing. They're teaching, make your list of 100 people, make your list of 100 people, except, oh, it's not old school belly to belly, because all they're doing is telling you to say exactly what you would say in your old school belly to belly, but via text message. It's like, oh my gosh, that is still so old school. You know, I just did a 30-minute training session about the 7 habits and skills of the highly successful network marketer today. And, you know, if you're building today, if you're not already wildly successful, if you don't already have a team of 10, 20, 30,000 people, and you're building today, you have got to be using social media, and you've got to be a funnel freak. You have got to build automation. You've got to be an online marketer. You've got to be an email marketer. You've got to be a content creator. You've got to know how to create funnels. You know, there are a lot of skill sets. So I'm not saying that to inundate anyone or overwhelm anyone, because I honestly believe that there are enough tools out there that anybody can do this. I mean, I've got some people in their 80s in my programs who are getting leads. They're getting leads, and they're getting people booking on their calendars. So you can highly effectively use social media. Um, and if you're really serious about building a 6-figure income and beyond, then you're going to have to get serious and be an online marketer. Sure, have people built old school belly to belly? Absolutely. There are people who've made a lot of money. Can you still build old school belly to belly? Yes, absolutely you can. I know people today who are old school belly to belly marketers. They're building in new companies, and they're not doing it by just taking their teams from another company and moving them over to a new company. They're starting from scratch. They're building old school belly to belly because it's what they know, and they're totally comfortable with it. And the biggest challenge with that is that 99.999% of your downline will not be able to duplicate that at all.
Well, I think you also touched on something that I always talk about. I did a whole episode on it, is your list of 100.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry to burst those people's bubbles, but your list of 100 will get you absolutely nowhere,
Yeah.
because that list of 100 needs to be a list of 10 or 20,000, because not most people are going to say no. So the problem that most network marketers have is they blow through that warm market, their friends, their family, their list of 100, and then they say, well, I guess that was my run. I guess I gave it the old college try, and I went through all those people, and 3 people said yes. So I think that's all I got now.
Yeah. Well, and on top of that, it's like the hardest place to start, because the rejection from your friends and family members is brutal. And the problem with that list of 100 is literally it works totally against human psychology and the way our brains are built. Our brain's primary job is to keep us safe. Rejection is not safe. So after you've burned through your list of 100 people and you've had so much rejection, your brain has told you in no uncertain terms that this whole business is not safe. It is not easy. It is not pleasurable. And you better bail right now. Right now is the time for you to bail.
I love that. So, Gloria, before we start to wind down, what's your best basic tip for obviously outside of the listeners that have worked with me or know what I do? You know, we both love LinkedIn. what for the listener that doesn't know anything about LinkedIn, what would you say is the most simple, most basic thing that anyone in network marketing can do on LinkedIn to start understanding the platform better?
Well, I think this is not necessarily the exact answer to your question, but I will say that I think the single most powerful aspect of LinkedIn is messaging. And um, it really is like anything else. First of all, you have to know who your target audience is and where to find them on the platform. And I tell people are shocked. Now, I teach a very specific way of traction marketing and targeting business builders. But let's say you're somebody who really doesn't want to target business builders, that you really want to sell product on LinkedIn. Great. You can do that. And you'll be shocked if you actually search on LinkedIn. I had somebody that I was talking to a couple weeks ago, and she absolutely wanted to find pet groomers on LinkedIn. Wouldn't have been my recommendation, but that's what she wanted to do. And it was like, okay, great. Well, I'll show you. I had never done it before, but I was absolutely certain that I would find a ton of pet groomers on LinkedIn. So I went to LinkedIn, went to the search bar, typed in pet groomers and groups. There were, I can't forget how many groups, but something like 1,400 groups on LinkedIn of pet groomers. And then I just, typed in people, search for people who have pet grooming in their profile. Tens of thousands of them. So for LinkedIn, it really is about understanding how powerful the search is on LinkedIn and how easy it is to find anyone in the niche that you want to find.
No,
It's crazy.
no, it's amazing advice. And I talk about that all the time is that, whenever you reach out to someone, think about how you would respond to the message that you're sending. Is it a message that you would view as organic and genuine, where you're like, you know what, I want to talk to this person. So if that message is icky or it seems spammy to you as you're writing it, then run it through your filters, because again, it's not about you, it's about the person that you're connecting with that matters most. And again, to your point, you always want to connect with that person that you don't know, that has the closest relatability to you, which is someone that has a similar background to you, where you can form that instant connection when you get them on the phone. That's what's most important. But I love that. I love simple and easy things for people to do, because that's what LinkedIn is. Everyone thinks it's difficult and it's hard to use and it's so confusing, just because everyone's been so pre-programmed with Facebook and Instagram that you get onto LinkedIn and you're like, oh my. Once you get into LinkedIn, it's easier than any other platform out there.
Oh,
Trust me. You just have to turn over those stones.
totally agree with you, Scott. It is so much easier than any other platform, and it's so straightforward. And, you can build your business. And the other thing I say is that, look, I'm under no illusions. LinkedIn is where Facebook was years ago. And there will come a time where, LinkedIn will be what Facebook is today. And you won't be able to build on LinkedIn the way you can today. So if you're listening to this, get on LinkedIn now,
Love it.
because it's only a question of time before every network marketer and everybody in your specific niche is all over LinkedIn.
Yep. And the reason why it's such a protected platform, because, there is only 600 million people on there. There's 3.5 billion on Facebook and Instagram. So, really now is the time. And, to Gloria's point, Facebook, was what it was, but LinkedIn is having a Facebook 2012 moment right now. And you know what? You're not taking advantage of it. So Gloria, before I get to my final question, how can people learn more about you and what you do and how you can help them?
Yeah, thanks, Scott. Two different things. You can go to my website, gloriamacdonald.com. So MacDonald.com, gloriamacdonald.com. Or you can grab my latest free guide, which is cracking the LinkedIn code, at gloriamacdonald.com/LI for LinkedIn, LI code. gloriamacdonald.com/LI code.
Love that. So for all the listeners, all of that information will be in the show notes. So you guys can go and grab it. And Gloria, final question before we sign off. What does success truly mean to you?
That's an easy one for me, Scott. It's impacting lives and seeing people have amazing changes in their lives.
And I think that's such a powerful answer because for the listeners, you can tell when someone's a servant leader where they are more inspired and motivated by the success of others instead of themselves. Because obviously, in order for you to really have that impactful life, you have to start impacting those around you. So first, I just want to thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and your thoughts on the podcast. And second, just thank you for joining me and just being who you are and really giving those network marketers, those entrepreneurs hope and all of those things that they are other ways to build their business. So just thank you so much and just grateful for you being on the show today.
Thank you, Scott. It was an absolute pleasure being here. Thank you so much for having me.
You're so welcome. So again, guys, as always, take a screenshot of wherever you're listening to this from, post it on social. You can tag us in it. Let us know your aha moments, takeaways, and things that really moved you forward. So again, please enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye, everybody. Thank you again so much for checking out this week's episode. And if you can, head over to iTunes, search for Network Marketing Made Simple, leave me a 5-star rating, basic review. I would be grateful for all of the support you guys can give me. And again, if you'd be interested in learning more how to utilize LinkedIn to grow your business, your brand, and your bank account, head over to my website, www.scottaaron.net. Fill out the form for your free 15-minute discovery call so I can learn more about you, your business, and how we can work together. And again, thank you guys so much. Grateful for you all, and I'll see you next time.